Good morning, everyone. This is Teacher Joanna, and I will be your teacher in Social Studies. Okay? Now, before we start our lesson, let us first read these words. Are you ready? Okay, very good. So, everyone, let us read forced. Okay, again, forced. And then we have burden. Everyone, let us read burden. And then we have exemption. Everyone, let us read exemption. And then we have interaction. Everyone, let us read interaction. Okay, so the words are exemption, interaction, forced, and burden. Now, do you know the meaning of the words? Okay, so let us know the meaning of the words, everyone. When we say exemption, state of being free, that is exemption. Okay? When we say interaction, reciprocal action or influence, that is interaction. When we say forced, imposed by physical power, that is forced. Okay? And when we say burden, a load, especially a heavy one. Okay? So those are the meaning of the words. Now today, we are going to talk about forced labor. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Forced labor. Now, what do you want to learn? What is forced labor? Okay, so we are going to answer that question at the end of this lesson. Now, if you are ready to listen, please sit up straight, eyes on me, and ears on me. So, everyone, let's talk about forced labor. So, another colonial practice introduced to the Filipinos was Polo y Servicio, or the forced labor. So the first one are the encomienda and the tributo. Okay, so this is another Spanish colonial practice that was introduced to the Filipinos. And what is it called? Polo y Servicio, or the forced labor. Now, the rules that were enforced in the Philippines during the colonial period were guided by the Recopilación de Leyes de los Reinos de las Indias, or Laws of Indias, which was formed in 1680. This law contained the rules that will control the interaction between the Spanish settlers and natives. So what law contains the rules that controls the interaction between Spanish settlers and natives? The laws of Indias, okay? Or the Recopilación de Leyes de los Reinos de las Indias, okay? Or the laws of Indias. Now, during the time that the Philippines was a colony of Spain, Spain was at war with the Dutch. Okay, remember that. During the time that the Philippines was a colony of Spain, Spain was at war with the Dutch. Spain was at war with whom? The Dutch. During this period, the colony was busy with shipbuilding, looking for potential sailors, and purchasing rice with promises of payment. Okay? But, like the tributo, Polo y Servicio became an additional burden. Okay? Tributo was already a burden, and Polo y Servicio became an additional burden as well to the Filipino people. Okay? It started in 1580. So the Polo y Servicio, or the forced labor, started in 1580. Now, the colonial government enforced the system of recruiting Filipino males ages 16 to 60. Okay, so they recruit Filipino males ages what? 16 to 60 years old without pay in community projects like cutting logs in the forest, building ships, repairing of churches, constructing of government buildings, roads, bridges for 40 days. Now, Polo y Servicios recruit male, okay, Filipino males only, ages 16 to 60 years old, okay, without pay. Okay, day labor without pay, and it lasts for 40 days. Okay? Thus, Polo means community work and workers were called polista. Now, in Polo y Servicios, the people who work or the workers are called polista. Now, listen. According to the laws of Indies, polistas should be able-bodied Filipino males between 16 to 60. Able-bodied. Okay, Filipino males. It was also provided by the law that the workers should be paid 1/4 real. Okay, remember that 1 real is equals to 12 and 1/2 centavo. So the 1/4 of 12 and 1/2 centavo should be given to the workers a day and should have free meal. Okay, it was provided by the law. Now, in 1884, the 40-day period was reduced to 15 days. Okay? Now, forced labor should be done outside of the planting and harvesting season. Okay? So, this forced labor or the Polo y Servicio should be done outside the planting and harvesting season. Now, it is also mandated that polistas should be assigned to distant places that will keep them away from their families. Okay, that is the Polo y Servicio that they are talking about. That is in the laws of Indies. But Polo y Servicio's intention was good. Okay? But here is the but. The administrators in the Philippines did not follow the provision. Okay? Did not follow the provision. Who did not follow the provision? The administrators in the Philippines. Okay? Meaning the leaders. Now, the polistas were not paid. Okay, wherein they promised that they will pay the polistas 1/4 real a day. Okay? They were sent to faraway places, keeping them from their family. Okay, that is mandated. And some polistas died from hunger and sickness due to hard labor. Hunger. The Spanish are supposed to give free meals, but some polistas died from hunger and sickness due to hard labors. And the fields were uncultivated. Okay? Because they are doing the Polo y Servicios in harvesting and in harvesting season. Okay? So, those are the bad effects of Polo y Servicios. That's why it became an additional burden to the Filipinos. Okay? So, later this time, the FALA was introduced. So, what is this FALA, teacher? This was the exemption from Polo, which cost 1 and 1/2 reales a day of supposed absence from work. Okay? However, the polistas were abused by the administrator by taking what they paid for a FALA, but still were included in the list of those who would render Polo. Now, FALA is the cost, okay, of your exemption. Okay? Supposed absence from work. Now, 1 day is equals to 1 and 1/2 reales. So, you're just going to pay 1 and 1/2 reales for you to be exempted, okay, from work. Okay? But, however, the polistas were still abused because the Spanish are just taking the FALA, but they still list those people who paid Fala, okay, to the list to render Polo. Okay? So the people resisted the forced labor due to this reason. Okay, everyone? These are the reasons why the people or the Filipinos resisted the forced labor or the Polo y Servicio. First, the livelihood activities of the people were neglected. Instead of planting and harvesting, they are forced to labor for 40 days without pay. Okay? Filipinos developed a dislike for manual labor because they were forced to do this without pay. Okay? Again, they dislike it because they labor without pay. The Spanish don't pay them. Filipinos dislike manual labor because of the concept that manual labor is for the poor, since those who have money can pay fala and exempted from forced labor. Okay, remember that not all Filipinos are wealthy. Okay, now this fala concept is for rich people only because they are the ones who can pay 1.5 reales a day of exemption. Okay, how about the poor people? They cannot pay. That's why they are forced to labor. And men were separated from their families. Okay? So, those are the reasons why the Filipinos resisted the forced labor. It is abusive. Okay? Now, the polo was also one of the reasons why many Filipinos escaped to the mountains. Okay, so many revolts against the Spaniards happened because of polo. Remember that. Okay, that is polo y servicio. Okay, so I have your question. What is Polo y Servicio, everyone? Polo y Servicio is a 40-day labor for male Filipinos. Okay? Supposed to be with pay. But the Spanish did not pay them. So, what are the reasons why people resisted Polo or forced labor? Okay? First is that the livelihood was neglected, and then they are not paid, and then men were separated from their family. And then that fala concept is only for the rich people. That's why they resisted. Okay, so what did you learn today? Today we have learned about Polo y Servicio or forced labor. Polo y Servicio is a labor for 40 days. Supposed to be they are paid, but the Spanish did not pay them. Okay? Okay, so if you really did understand the lesson, then let us proceed to your practice exercise wherein you're going to answer Think It Over, letter A, page 145, and your evaluation will be answer Think It Over, letter B, page 145 as well. Now, don't forget to answer your practice exercise and your evaluation because I'm going to check it. Do you understand? Okay, now here is your assignment. Answer, try this out, page 142. Okay? Now, don't forget to do your assignment. So, thank you for listening. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.